Okay, Assalamu alaikum. Today I'm going to discuss evolution of management theory. So, how management evolved? It was for centuries that the scientists had observed the behavior of workers and employees. So, it was centuries back that the scientists they observed the behavior of workers and employees. Management thought is a new discipline. It has advanced because of social, economic, political forces. So now management it is a new discipline and it had basically advanced because of social, economic and political forces. Management had grown because of the influence of many influencers and practitioners. Management had changed, grown, improved with the passage of time because of many experts. For example, we have Frederick Taylor, we have got Alton Mayer and W. Edwards. By the late 1800s, America became the manufacturing capital of the world. So it was from here that the concept of management started to approach. Mass production techniques enabled the mass production of the products. Products were being produced in a mass quantity and at a lower cost, and the sky was the limit. There was an improvement in the simple technology improved, then wide variety of materials came into being, and then the materials quantity increased. The technological advancement came in an exceeding way, which created a chaos. It led to the national productivity problem. As the technological advancement increased, so it led to chaos, and this created national productivity problems. Businesses were not that efficient. It was the time when businesses were not that productive, and there were three basic issues which the businessmen they were facing. First was collaboration between people and the machines. Workers were afraid that substituting machine power for human power is going to lead towards elimination of jobs. Now the workers they were afraid that they might lose their jobs because of the advanced machinery which was being introduced in their factories according to those times. Workers were also physically afraid of large, noisy, dirty, dangerous factory machines. Another issue was that they were really worried about physically using those large, dirty and dangerous machineries. There was general inexperience in running the large factories, and again the people they were not that skilled in running those large factories. The aim was to make large quantity of products so that the cost of production should be reduced. Now what was the aim of management at that time was to produce large quantity of products at low cost. As the owners and workers were not used to in working in large groups, so different authority structures were needed. Now at that time people were not used to in working in large groups, so there was a need for having different authority structures. Standard operation has to be developed. There was a need to have a standard operation. The efficiency brought deep personalization. Bigger businesses were having bigger problems. Now the more bigger a business was, the more huge problems it was facing. Managers started to realize how costly the organization were becoming the more they search for solutions, and so the managers they realized this factor as well, that it was becoming really expensive to run an organization as they were searching for the solutions for all the problems which were emerging side by side. It led to the development of four major thoughts. So finally, because of all these changes which were coming with the passage of time, there emerged four major thoughts in the management: classical thought, behavioral thought, and systems approach, contingency approach. So there were basically four approaches. The first one, classical approach, it began in the late 1800. The second one, the behavioral approach, it emerged in the early 1900s. And the third one, systems approach, it emerged in the 1930s to 40s. And the last one, that is the contingency approach, it got famous in the 1960s. Classical approach emphasizes on the manager's post in the management hierarchy. So classical approach, it basically focuses on the manager's post in the management level, focuses on the task, machine, system, so that the task is performed efficiently. In classical approach, focus is mainly on the goals which are given to the workers, the machinery which is used, and how the systems are being run so that the task, the goal, objective is achieved efficiently. It has two different components. Now classical thought is having two different components: scientific management and administrative management. Business economics came to be known as shop management, so it introduced to an entire new discipline. Now that was the time when business economics was known as shop management, so it led to a entirely new discipline known as the scientific management. It emphasizes in improving the efficiency of work by using the systematic and scientific tools. By the scientific management, we actually it actually means to improve the efficiency of work, and there should be usage of systematic and scientific tools. Realizing the performance standards, Frederick Taylor is remembered for his contribution to the management thought. Now Frederick Taylor, he realized that there's a need for maintaining performance standards. It was in the first part of the 20th century, as he got experience in the steel mills, he concluded that productivity problem was there. Now while Frederick Taylor, he was working in the steel mill, so he realized that there was a productivity problem, and that was because of the lack of management. In the earlier 1900s, productivity problem was blamed by the businessmen because of the laziness of the workers. Now in the earlier 1900s, the businessmen, they believed that there was the productivity problem, production was less because of the laziness of the workers. Taylor gives suggestions on the basis of his observations. Now whatever he was observing while he was himself working at the steel mill, so he was giving all the suggestions as well. Seeing the systematic slowdown of work, he realized that there was a systematic slowdown of work as the workers were demanded to do more work in less time. Now he realized that the workers' performance was slow because the workers were forced to do more work in less time. Taylor believed management did not know how to produce the work. So because of that, he concluded that management does not know how to produce the work. Some laborers believe that if they work too fast, they will lose their job. And there was another concept among the laborers that if they worked more quickly in order to increase the productivity, so they feared that they might lose their job, because they thought that if the target is going to be achieved, so the company might let them leave their job. Workers did not know how to begin their job efficiently. Another problem the workers were facing was that they actually did not know how to perform in their job much more effectively and efficiently. Taylor believed all these problems existed because of poor management. So now Taylor, he believed that actually these problems existed because of poor management. Then it was Taylor who gave certain suggestions, he made certain rules which were to be followed in order to achieve the basic motive of management. It was to perform one best task. One best task is to be kept rather than focusing on several. Scientifically select, train, teach and develop each worker. Each worker is to be given importance. He is to be trained, selected, taught all the basics, and he is to be developed. Cooperate with workers and provide them an incentive so that the work is done according to the aim. Workers are not just there to get work from. They are to be given self-respect, self-esteem by providing them incentive, by providing them all the perks and privileges, and the work is to be divided equally among all. Second is management, administrative management. Management as a function can be applied to any science. Now management is if we see it as a function, so it can be applied to any science. It focuses on the coordination of the workers, organizing the work of the entire organization. Now it's very important that in management the workers should coordinate and they work for organizing the entire organization. Work is done rationally. The behavior of the employees also matter. Now it's very important that the work which is to be given to each worker is to be done logically, and the behavior of the employees also matters, as then work will be easy to understand and fairly productive. Work is not always rational, logical and process. Many people work not just for the aim of making money. Now in management also, in the field of management, there are certain people who do not work for the aim of making money, but their motive is to excel their performance, their company, and to achieve their objectives. Now what is behavioral approach? Understanding the needs and attitudes of the workers so that progress is achieved. In 1924, a professor of MIT, he did a research and found that whatever are the circumstances at the workplace, it greatly affects the performance of the workers. So there was a professor, he researched on the behavior of the employees and he found out that however the workers are being treated, they are going to give the same performance. If they are given respect, their due rights, so they will give much more better performance as compared to if they are treated in a very bad manner and they are just there to give a lot of work and invest a lot of time, and in return they are not given their due rights. So that is going to eventually result to the decline of that organization. They should be provided with incentives, bonuses and given great respect too, as this makes the workers feel valued, stop being fearful and discouraged. The good social relationship at the workplace produces more output. The more social relationships are developed at the workplace among the employees and with the employers, the more output is going to be produced in that organization. Then we have got systems approach. All the organizations, they are interrelated. They are interrelated and have got a common goal to achieve. Organizations consist of input, transformational process, output and feedback. All the organizations, they have an input, then they have got transformational process, output and feedback. W. Edward Deming was also a great manager. It was the period of Second World War. He devoted much of his life in spreading the message of continuous statistical process controls. Now Edward Deming, he was present at the time of Second World War, so he spent most of his life in working on the aim that there should be continuous statistical process control. So that the quality is improved, Deming thought it necessary to integrate all the earlier positive concepts, and he believed that whatever positive concepts existed from day one in management are to be integrated. All the organizations and systems are to be considered as being one, as long as they have a similar motive. Till all the organizations and systems they are having one single goal, and as they are really having one single goal, so they should remain united. There should be a quest for much more better quality. It brought the Marshall companies to bring best quality in their work. It was because of Deming's this kind of approach, thought, hard work, that Marshall companies of that time they started to improve their quality. Suppliers, customers, internal employees all have a tremendous dependency, all are one together and they support each other. Now suppliers, customers, internal employees, they all are one force. They are interconnected, interdependent, and they cannot succeed without each other's support. So this makes everyone to work together like it is in any company, where each person has a job to do, but no particular job is less important than the other. Like we see in a football field that all the players are contributing their hard work in order to achieve a match. It's not that one particular person is more important than the other, but the actual reality is that all are equally important, and so it led towards the success of all. It was in the 1960s that the phrase "it depends" began to be used regularly. It was in 1960s that the phrase "it depends" was used regularly in management. So it characterized the contingency approach, which is an outgrowth of the systems approach, and so approached the contingency approach, which is actually outgrowth of the systems approach. It emphasizes in identifying the key variables in each situation. Now in contingency approach, the main focus is on identifying the various key variables in each situation, understanding the relationship among each variable, and identifying the causes and effects. What is the relationship of each variable in that particular situation, and then what are the causes and effects of any positive or negative outcome of the various different managerial decisions which are taken. So from Frederick Taylor to W. Edward Deming, management thinking have developed and improved. So from Frederick Taylor to Edward Deming, management thinking had evolved, developed, improved to a great extent. As the ideas change, new theories approached, the future generations will benefit and the work quality will definitely advance. Even the quality of life in the workplace is going to change to a great extent. So this was all about the concept of the evolution of management theory.